Microphone check 212. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to It's the Bearded Man podcast with your favorite, the world's favorite bearded man, Bobby. Today we are in West Hollywood with a guy by the name of Huey Mack, or as I like to call him, Joey Baby. Welcome to the show, brother.
Hi. Also, technically, I have a beard right now, so I guess...
You do have a beard right now. I should have introed saying the bearded men tonight.
Yeah.
I've actually noticed that the last probably 3 or 4 episodes that I've been recording are with bearded guys unintentionally, so I think the branding is really speaking for itself as this is becoming like a very bearded branded content.
I actually, I've been like trying to get a beard lately, and every time I try to, I guess... trim it up, I end up fucking cutting it back down.
Well, here's the key,
I need
brother.
to find like a guard that I'm happy with.
Ready? Here's the best piece of advice. You got to find a barber that will groom it for you. I have not put a actual like blade to my face or actually trimmed this beard in probably 5+ years.
How often do you get your haircut?
Every 2 weeks.
Okay, I don't get my haircut that much.
It's definitely ridiculous. For
sure.
It's pretty ridiculous.
Aggressive.
100%. But I can always rationalize it because I'm like, well, I'm trying to be the bearded man, and like that's the brand, so I could try to rationalize it, but it is a little aggressive.
Yeah.
But hey, what are you gonna do?
Yeah. Teach his own.
Back-to-back podcast for you today, or tonight, I should say, in the last 24 hours.
Yeah, I had one last night. There was a lot more alcohol involved, though.
Well, I'm 60 days no booze right now, so I can promise you the booze is not gonna.
I know, that's crazy
because
we hung out the other day and I didn't even realize you weren't drinking.
Yeah, I tried to not make. I mean, as somebody who is used to being in that like environment and fucking full throttle throwing it back, I try not to make a big deal about it and be like, oh no, I'm not drinking. I just play it off like, oh, I'm good right now.
Are you sober, or are you just
no booze?
No, I mean like.
Smoke
for
weed.
Good.
Oh, so like for good? No.
Okay, all right.
The goal is...
So you just have a goal.
Yeah, goal is 100 days. I came off of doing 100 days of constant sweat.
So you don't have like a chip?
No. I for sure am going to have a nice glass of wine at some point.
Okay.
Nice, when this actually ends at the 100 days, I have a bottle of champagne at the house already waiting to like pop off.
Oh, I love that.
But yeah, this is really just a short temporary test to just kind of clean the system. And I literally did a challenge during the beginning of COVID, 100 days of consistent sweat. And then unintentionally, I started just 1 week, 2 weeks of no booze. And then I was like, all right, let me actually push this and keep it going. So now it's just, I'm going to go for the 100.
2 things with that. Do you know Emmy?
Emmy who?
Okay, I know this girl who does that challenge. It sounded like...
Emmy from...
Movement?
Movement, yeah. I know,
yeah.
Like, I know of her. We don't really know each other that well, but... Yeah, it actually stems from a YouTube group called Yes Theory.
Okay.
And that's where they originated the actual challenge, and so people have kind of hopped on the bandwagon and, so forth. But
yeah, I've seen her do it. The other thing. Oh, do you feel better? Because personally, let me preface this. I did 45 days sober.
Okay.
Last year, mainly as a weight loss goal. I just thought it was better in that moment. I didn't feel that much better. I mean, obviously, I didn't have hangovers. Mm-hmm. So that was like a plus.
Yeah.
But like, I didn't feel like my day-to-day was that much better.
Yeah. So somebody asked me, like, physically, do you feel a lot different? And I think I have more. I think the energy aspect, for sure, more. I don't have 6-pack abs all of a sudden popping out. They're still hibernating is what I'm telling people. But I feel a lot more mentally clear. I am in so much more control of my thoughts. Okay. And I actually feel more confident when I'm in a larger environment of people because I can control how I approach people, what I say to people. When I think
you
back,
were never like an out of control.
I was
drunk,
never,
though.
Nah, I'm very fortunate because
I mean, I've seen you being out of control drunk,
I'm sure we're gonna get into. We're gonna get into that today. Here's the thing. When I think back to my college years, I was the first one in the bar, last one to leave, just partying late hours of the night, getting just a lot of alcohol. But luckily, I never did anything stupid. Like, I never crossed the line. I never would cause fights. I never tried to be super aggressive with women. I just kind of got hammered and then, just kind of mingled. Mm-hmm. But I think my thought was like, if I get hammered, I'm going to just fit in. I'll meet some girls. I'll probably end up with one of them by the end of the night. And the intention was always the wrong thing, and it never actually really panned out the way that I thought it would always be.
Yeah.
So
I mean, for a lot of people, it's a good way to take off like or put on your social mask.
Totally.
What was I gonna say? Oh yeah. Also, I was doing no carbs when I was sober, so I was just like drained.
Oh, I bet. Yeah. So was that the period when you lost a lot of weight?
Yeah, I probably did like 20 pounds last year.
Damn.
Around this time, but like, yeah, there was no carbs, so I was just like, oh.
Yeah, that's tough. I've actually found, because I've done the whole like no carb diet, and then I've talked to people that really know their dieting, and it's actually healthy to eat carbs if you eat the right carbs. So like rice, things of that nature, versus like breads that kind of take a long time for your body to break down. But I feel actually healthier having a good balance of carbs in me, because I think it gives you extra energy.
Yeah, you definitely need the energy. It's a good way to lose weight, but it's very hard to sustain that way. Like the second that you start eating them again, it's like,
yeah, it's like,
but like now I'm more aware of things like that. So it's funny because when I have like a big carb meal, the next day I'll see it. I'm a little like, I actually feel like bigger, like in like a muscly way. I'm fucking jacked today.
Yeah, you're like, let me throw up an IG story real quick. Let these women know that I'm feeling some type of way today.
Yeah,
dude, I was driving here. It took about 30 minutes because, of course, you know how like even amid a COVID pandemic.
Yeah, I was napping.
Yeah, I walk in, literally doors open. Joey's passed out on the couch, so I love that. I was like, this is great. Literally anybody could just walk in and rob you, and you probably wouldn't even know. But driving over here, I just had like so many thoughts popping in my mind, because I'm like, man, this is going to be a great conversation. Because first off, the very first podcast that we did was recorded in January of 2017. It was in a hotel right outside the House of Blues, Boston. You were in town to do the final show with Sammy Adams. And this was I had probably met you probably 3 months prior to that. I was also maybe 20 episodes in my podcast career.
Did we meet on that run?
We met on that run. That was when...
And then you guys ended up going on another run with me. Do you guys, when me and Futuristic did the joint tour...
So Dylan was on that tour as a tour manager.
There.
I was not there.
Okay.
I came for that the second time you guys were on tour, where Dylan, he was a tour manager on the first one.
Who was he a tour manager to?
TJ Hickey.
Oh.
Yeah. Mic drop. So he was manager.
No shade.
Yeah, no shade. No, just shout out to the MA homies. So he was a tour manager for TJ, and then the next time he went on tour was with you, and you did the off dates where some nights you were performing with Sammy, and then next nights you were the headliner, and we were there to support you. So that's when we originally met, and I got my little taste of touring with you guys. And I actually had, now looking back, no real value to the actual team of being there, except costing Dylan money and him headaches, because I'd be getting slightly boozed up with Branville and Noah and you.
Oh, goodness. I only remember one time you getting out of control. I think we were in Syracuse at a pool bar. Am I right here? Not out of control, but like a funny fucking like, yo, I like this dude. He's fucking out of control.
It could have been that night. The one night, and I brought this up to Noah when I met up with you guys at the beach the other weekend, was Missouri, I think, or Kansas. There was a show in Kansas.
Yeah,
and we went
Granada?
to I don't remember the venue, but I'll tell you this.
It's a sick venue.
After the show, there was an after party. We went through like 2 layers of security, and I just remember being in the corner of this club, and the waitress came over. I've told this story many times to other people. The waitress just came over, had a platter of Fireball shots, and she's like, you guys can have as much as you want. I was like, okay. Started sending them back. Me and Branville caused ruckus. I think me and him like got into a little rumbling outside. Dylan was livid, screaming at me, sober.
Dude,
it just went downhill.
Branville used to get... I felt like I was the tour manager that tour.
Yeah, because that was Noah's first tour.
Yeah, and only...
You had Noah on his first tour as a tour manager, my first tour as a quote-unquote tour manager, even though I wasn't a tour manager. I always told people I was the hospitality manager. I was there to make sure the vibes were up. But yeah, that was a interesting... And then you had Mason.
And we had Ryan as photographer.
Ryan. Jordan on merch.
Jordan was the merch guy. Yeah. Oh, I'll never forget how fucking pissed I was. We had 500 lighters.
And what happened?
and they get shipped to the House of Blues in Chicago. And the next show, everybody's like, "Where's the lighters?" And they fucking left them at the House of Blues, and they didn't have them.
Oh, man.
They're like, "We don't know where they went." So the first fucking day with these lighters, 500 lighters, and we only sold them for one night. And I was so
all
mad.
Gone.
All gone.
The life of touring.
Mm-hmm.
It seems like that's in it, like not even a thing at this point after 2020 just being a complete wash.
You just got to charge it to the game.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Crazy.
That was a fun tour. I remember our first podcast. It was in the Hotel Verve.
You're right.
Is that what it was
It
called?
was Hotel Verve.
Is that it's like right by the House of Blues. It's like a weird rock and roll hotel.
Yeah.
But it's like
it's nice. It's like during like summer seasons in Boston. That's like a $500 a night hotel.
Yeah.
I think we probably got it for a steal that night because it was
probably like 200.
Yeah, probably even less because it was middle of January. Crazy night, but I do remember. This is sad. I literally woke up in it's a part of Boston called Southie. It's a very like
I've watched Ben Affleck movies.
Yeah, you're right. Okay, I know for a fact if there's anybody that knows movies well, it's gonna be you. So 100% believe that. But bro, I literally woke up outside of somebody's apartment. Like we went to an after party at this apartment. I don't even know if you remember that. Dude, we went to a club that night.
I remember going to a club because I was with Marcus
Mike
Smart.
actually showed up that night too.
Mike was there, and we were with Marcus Smart, the Celtic.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
That night was wild. We went to Bijou after party, and
Yep,
then there was
it
an
was a
after party was at this house party in Southie. I should not have been there, and I literally woke up outside of the person's apartment, and I was just like crumbled up, and I was like, "Yo, you got to get your fucking ass home." And
Were we with Cam Meekins that night?
I think Cam Meekins was there too.
Cam Meekins was there.
Yeah, that was rough. Those were some interesting months of my life doing touring like that. There was like an 8-month span that I went and did the tour life for a little bit here and there when I had opportunities. I went on tour with you, with Futuristic, Dylan, 2 or 3 times that within that 12 months. And then I kind of just like, yeah, this is not meant for me. This is not my game. It's a different lifestyle, especially I know you guys really elevate it to a different level when it's full touring and just getting rowdy.
Yeah, I was supposed to do a bunch of shit before COVID because the album just came out. We were going to go back on tour, and I was like, I haven't toured in so long. I wonder who I'm going to be.
In the sense of like how, like the performance-wise or just the way you operate?
I obviously know that's going to be a little more refined, but I just meant the antics. Because I'm a little older now.
Yeah.
I've been around it for a long time, and like, well, I mean, we used to have fun.
Dude,
you know, you were there.
Oh,
we
bro,
had fun.
Even this is the crazy part. Even before I was there, I used to watch you guys in the blog era, 2010, 2011, before I even knew you personally, and just watching like touring videos that I'd see your face pop up with Mike or John.
All right, I'm not that old. I didn't start touring until like 2013.
All right, well, I'm not trying to put age. I'm not trying to put age on. I'm trying to give some context to you guys. I mean, dude, even then you're probably what, 28 right now?
Mm-hmm.
Bro, you're young.
I know.
But this is what I'm saying. You've been in the game for a minute, bro.
I know. We talked about this on the podcast yesterday, and like just how young I was when it started happening. I'm like, oh my god.
Yeah, I
literally just went from a kid in Morgantown, West Virginia, and that was the only context to my life. And now all of a sudden, I'm seeing everything. I'm financially responsible for 6 people. I'm buying bottles in clubs and I can't even fucking legally be there. It was fucking just a really giant culture shift.
There was a lot of people looking the other way when you were pulling up.
Oh yeah.
Well, dude, I'm not gonna lie. I remember I mentioned this to you the day when we saw each other at the beach. And I was like, yo, we got to get a podcast in. And then when I texted you yesterday saying like, yo, or 2 days ago saying we need to get this in, you had said, oh yeah, I'm about to actually do a pod with Mike tonight. So any other night. And I'm like, well, isn't this interesting? I'm going to do a podcast the day after with Joey. And I think like, when I think back to how I both found you, it was around that same era. And so when I heard the first podcast you did with Mike and I think there was a couple other people on the actual show, I was pumped to listen to that because I knew there was going to be some, I thought there was, it was more of you guys just kind of like shooting the shit. But I know that this next podcast that comes out with you two is probably going to be something that a lot of people are going to be extremely excited to hear.
Yeah, it was really good, man. I mean, we've just known each other for a long time, and I just think it's good for not only the people who listen to us, but for artists in general, because you kind of get to see two different sides of how things can happen, and just we share a lot of the same mindset, so it was really good. The other one was more, I mean, anytime you got Kilmer, you're talking about your dick a lot more.
Well, it's funny because
it got pretty real last night, and we were drinking too, so it was a good.
Were the emotions flowing?
A little bit.
For the right reasons, of course.
A little bit. It just felt
needed.
Yeah. I mean, it's done because we get drunk and we have these like just heart to hearts, and they're leaving in a couple weeks, and we were just like, we should do this on a podcast.
Huh.
And we just covered a lot of helpful topics.
Well, people are the thing.
Relatable topics.
This podcast for sure. I would be, if I'm a betting man, I would say this is going to roll out after that one rolls out. So I feel like we're now doing the reflect. We're not going to spend the whole podcast reflecting on the podcast you just did. But
to be honest, I don't know if it is, because I think they're kind of stacking them up right now. Because they're getting,
when they move.
Yeah. So and they're doing them like every other week, so it could be like a couple months. But
damn.
Yeah, I don't know.
Biggest takeaway from it from you?
I don't know, man. It's just good to know somebody for that long and just know that you each have a respect for each other.
Yeah.
In a certain sense, to where you can just have a very open conversation that, like, I don't know, feels familiar, but like felt right. It felt like it needed to happen.
Yeah. And it's good timing with him about to leave too. It's interesting when I think about kind of the era that I stumbled around from, like that I found your music or Mike's music. Two other artists that I can think of that I came across within those years would be like Mod Sun. Mm-hmm. Another artist would be like Jonas. And what I'm seeing right now in the last 12 to 16 months is a lot of artists that I think people came across during the blog eras of Good Music All Day. There's a big like change in their lives that's happening now. Mod, I don't know if he still is, but just went completely sober.
He's fucking fantastic.
I know you've worked with him and you're close with him, so that's amazing. I know you have clearly a deep relationship with Mike. I have grown to really, I've always liked his music, but to the podcast stuff really opened my eyes to like who he is now, and I think it's a really interesting evolve for him. Mm-hmm. I know I don't pay attention to Jonas, but I have seen recent tweets that he's 6 months sober.
You know what? I did a tour with him way back. I'm not that familiar with him or his music really, but I did see the sober tweet.
So what I'm getting at is it's not even, you don't have to be familiar or like know the music that well, but why do you think there's this change? What's the shift? What's causing, do you think, them to like have these either epiphanies or just perspective change? As somebody that's similarly in their shoes or, has followed not the same journey, but along the same path, like what's causing this to happen, do you think?
I mean, my main thing is you change or you die, in a sense, if that makes any sense. Mike's change, I think, has stemmed a lot from the podcast. I mean, like, he's grown into, like, that kind of, that we call him spiritual Mike. But, like, he's really grown into that. I think his situation and, like, Mod's are much different because Mod suffered from, kind of a much more intense thing, and he just realized he had to change. And that's good because, like, dude, he just had his biggest song that he's ever put out.
Yeah.
Fucking 8 years in, he's like, I'm gonna change my life, and he fucking did it, and now he's like, it's really working for him again.
Yeah.
And that's like beautiful to see. But like, I feel like we talk about it with our old music, me and Mike. We talked about it yesterday. Things that we said, or our whole thing was kind of like we were the fun douchebags that everybody liked, but we were kind of douchebags. It's just not cool to be that way anymore.
Yeah.
Like, when you have a scope of like, all right, when I can listen to a song about 8 years ago and I'm like, why the fuck did I say that? And it's just like, I just think it opens your eyes to like, okay, well, I don't want to be that person anymore, so I'm going to move in the right direction as much as I can.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, you're constantly always evolving.
Mm-hmm. And in one end, some people don't care about this as much as I do, but I'll hear something and I'll like, I have a song called fucking Hope Solo. It's all about wanting to have sex with Hope Solo. I don't know if you've heard it, but it was pretty
sure I have.
It was pretty big when it came out. Like, me and Kilmer were just watching the World Cup, and I was like, Hope Solo's hot. I'm gonna make a song about wanting to have sex with her. And like, granted, she like follows me. And
Hope
like,
Solo does?
Yeah, and like, obviously didn't have a problem with it, but like, for me, I listened to that and I'm like, this is wrong on so many levels.
Yeah.
And like, it was just accepted, and like, I don't fucking vibe with that anymore. So like, like, even like a lot of like saying bitch or like hoe, like, I don't even fuck with like that shit anymore.
Were you saying that a lot in the music before?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everybody was, you know. But like, when I like just think about ways I talk or like the ways I carried myself, I'm like, that's not how I want to conduct myself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I also think too, and I'm not making excuses for it, but I think anybody that, not anybody, this is a really, I'm going, take this for what it is, ladies and gentlemen. I'm not saying I know everything, but I think a lot of males that were in your situation when you came up at your age, exposed to the things you were exposed to in the environments you were in. Granted, you worked for it and it wasn't like it just kind of happened. I think
in a lot of ways it kind of did though. Cause like, my first song was like, I was on, like, it never not worked.
Yeah.
It was just like one release. Oh, wow. It's got 10,000 YouTube views. Oh, wow. The next one's got 100,000. Oh, wow. Now we're in 300,000. And I didn't know what the fuck I was doing. But yeah, continue. Sorry.
But you know, that's what I'm saying is like, you were, I think anybody that would have been in your shoes would have maybe taken a very similar path in the sense of whether it was enjoying the lifestyle that you were all involved in or writing the similar music. Like, you were so young and so new to your craft that you don't even know. You didn't have time to really hone in on the craft and think about like big picture where you want it to go. Like, I always preach, like, I'm so happy, or this is really just a perspective thing at the end of the day. I'm happy that I didn't blow up off the first podcast I've ever done. At this point, I've done over 200 and I'm still not like, you know, superstar level podcaster, but I know that when the time does come, I'm so much more ready for the opportunity because I've had so much more at bats of like having conversations and interviewing. So I try to convince myself, well, the longer it's taking me, it's actually working to my benefit because I'm able to like hone in on the skills.
Yeah, for sure.
Someone like you, first couple songs start to get a lot of traction. You don't even have time to rethink like the direction you're going. And do you actually think this is the right way you want to go with your music or whatever it is that shit's working? To me, it's like there is no other option B. You're going to just keep going with that path.
Yeah, for sure. And I said this last night. I was like, I feel like the people that I looked up to then aren't the same kind of people that I look up to now. Like, I mean, just in the scope of things, like, I looked up to musicians and like, you know how they act. Like, you're cool if you fuck bitches and you get money and then you...
Very masculine, partying.
Yeah, very
girls.
Yeah,
money,
like,
cars.
My idea of what cool was is not what my idea of what cool is now. And like, when you look back at that, like, I understand that's why things were like that. And like, I don't really feel bad about it either. But I'm like, all right, this isn't me anymore. Like, this isn't gonna be who I am anymore.
Who inspires you now? You knew that. You had to know that was coming.
I literally just had this talk, but I said off the bat, I was like, Robert Downey Jr. I thought that was like a great story. Like, this dude, I'm a big like second chance guy, which is like what I hate with like the whole everything going on right now. But like, Robert Downey Jr. was a drug addict in and out of jail. Then he got sober, did his stint in jail. He had to claw his way back into acting. Like, he already had Oscars and then like kept clawing and they wouldn't really give him a chance. Jon Favreau gave him a chance with Iron Man. Fucking the rest is history. Dude fucking changed everything. But like, what if like he didn't have the second chance, but like he worked for it. He did, you know, he like it seemed like he really, you know, made an effort to change, and like look how it worked out.
Yeah.
You grow.
Yeah, I didn't even realize that's how his. I would, if you would have asked me what was Robert Downey Jr. like path before Iron Man, I would have just guessed.
Have you ever read about it?
No,
dude. He
was on recently. He was on Rogan, and I don't.
He doesn't like to talk about it.
There it is.
It's very cookie cutter when I remember I watched an interviewer bring it up, and he just walked out of the room. Wow. Which I wish, like, I think it would be helpful to a lot more people if like he would, because I think it's very interesting and very necessary, but also like he deserves his privacy in the sense where, like, you know, he doesn't have to always, it's been talked about for what, 20 years now.
Yeah, at some point that gets old. You don't want to keep talking about it.
Yeah, but I remember like they wouldn't give him Iron Man because he was like uninsurable, because they have to insure actors on movies like that.
And because of his history, nobody wanted to actually.
And they like found a way to take a chance on him, and it like brought it back. Like, I mean, highest grossing actor probably of our generation.
It's not bad.
Yeah, I think there's a beauty in that I think gets lost, and like I look up to things like that.
Where else do you seek inspiration? Because it's clearly more than just music.
I mean, I'm a big film guy.
Yeah.
I'm a storyteller, and I'm just a sucker for a good story. Like anything, like me and my boys will talk about movies. I'll be like, that had a lot of heart. Like that makes you smile. Like I love things like that, and like music gives me that too. Like lyrics just really hit you sometimes. I was talking about a Passion Pit lyric. It's like it's hard to tell yourself the things you already know. And I was like, God damn. Why didn't I think of that?
Could you ever see yourself going into film at some point?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's where, I mean, right now I'm trying to diversify things. I'm talking about doing a podcast, which I'm a little reluctant.
Let's talk about that.
Yeah, my buddy owns a podcast network, and I was guest hosting the Mike one while he was out of town for like 4 weeks.
Yeah, I think I was just seeing your face in my feed for not Huey Mack post, and I was like, what's going on here?
I just started, like, I'd never really done, I mean, I've been on them with friends and stuff, and I'd done mics before, and I started doing those, and literally every day it's like, yo, be on my podcast. And then, like, everybody's like, dude, you're like really funny and like good at this, like you need to keep doing it. And I was like, they got one, it's not my thing. But now I'm like, we were talking about it last night, they're like, you need to fucking do it. And so I'm thinking about that step, and that's just, I don't like idle time anymore either. And like
you don't like just time just wasted?
Yeah, bro, like I'm too old to, like, with music, like I'm allowed to just fucking
take your time,
jerk off all day if I want to. And, like, the older I get, like, I don't even watch TV. Like, today I did because I was a little hungover. But, like, I try not to watch TV before 5. That's, like, been my new thing.
5 p.m., so no TV at all. Really? How did you, like, land on
I'll
that?
have SportsCenter on or something in the background.
Okay.
But, like, I don't know. Like, I just try to have as much of a work day as I can. And with music, like, if I go, all right, I need to make a song right now, it's always going to suck.
I know.
It never comes out good. So
I feel like that's just creative in general. Like if you tell yourself it's time to do this thing, it doesn't necessarily just get produced.
Yeah, the only time I do anything good is like when I want to do it. But like I've really just put a lot of thought into like, okay, well, what else can I do to just fill up my day? So the podcast has been something that's heavy on the mind, and I think we're gonna do it. And then I'm working with a buddy who's a TV writer on a script right now that we're gonna try to sell. Me and Kilmer, after the album came out, we had something and we kind of had funding to do it. But with the virus, it's kind of been...
Shot everything down.
It's just not been a priority. We were going to do this indie little film around the album, kind of.
He helped with all the visuals, I think, right? For everything that rolled out?
Yeah, but like, I've just been trying new things, and like, it just seems to have been... Everything has been very well received lately. Like the album trailer, it's like... It's just been all like my acting agent. It's just like,
yeah, you look good,
doors.
Joe. You looked good. I'm not gonna lie. Like even like getting ready for this, I saw everything when it rolled out, but like going back is like, Damn, even your Spotify like picture up top, the thumbnail or the I don't know what is. That's not the thumbnail, but
I actually changed it today. It's
you didn't.
It's fucking hilarious.
No, you didn't.
I have a picture of Captain America's shield, and I was like, "That's way funnier if you go to my fucking."
Well, dude, the picture of you in the candid view in the bar with like a drink, and then some girl. I was like, "Damn, this Joey looks fucking good." Right
I look
here.
like a country singer. Yeah, but yeah, it's just like everything's been about. All right, what can I do more? Yeah, and like our homie has this thing called Bravo Pay that's about to start rolling out that I might get involved with a little bit.
Yeah, I think, and it sounds like it probably does help you, but I feel like it's good to, maybe music is always the main thing, but I think diversifying and allowing yourself to have space between the music then allows you so that when you do go back to the music, you're probably more inspired, you have more to talk about. These other creative ventures are going to have your mind thinking and seeing things differently that you never would have had with music because it's requiring different parts of your brain or something.
Exactly. And as much as I'm a musician, like I feel like I'm an entertainer. Like, you know, I feel like a lot of the old music, even this might be subjective, but I
Say it.
I always felt back then people like me more than they like the music.
So they like your personality, they like your energy.
I just never thought, probably until this last album, or actually the ones I did with Louis Bell, those were pretty structurally sound projects, but I always just felt like the early days, like, people like me more than they like this music, right? And when I look back at it, I'm like, yeah, I was more of a personality. So I'm trying to lean into that a little bit.
You 100% need to start a podcast then. If you had to start one tomorrow, what would the direction be? What would you want the show to be about?
I'm a fucking nerd. I'm a secret closet nerd. Talk about all my geek thing. I could just make a podcast talking about Avengers for 8 hours a day.
Oh, I guarantee you there's going to be people that want to listen to that. I guarantee you have probably a core audience out there that is looking for that podcast.
Yeah, no, I don't know. I'm talking about it with my buddy Norm. We're kind of trying to map out what we would do if we do it. Like, I want to know my angle before
you start diving into it. Yeah, you want to plan it out.
Yeah, because you have to have something that catches people and it's interesting and it shows a nice side of you, especially as a musician. Because, you know, a lot of motherfuckers do that.
Yeah. Well, I think the benefit of a podcast is that, especially somebody like you, and what really was the best thing about me when I got into Purpose in the Youth was I essentially was providing a tool/platform to people like yourself who are so known for a product such as your music, or a filmmaker known for their visuals, or a designer known for their clothes, or a blogger known for the writing. I was able to give them a platform that humanized them because people could hear their voice, they could hear their emotion, they could see them, they felt relatable to them, and it was like, oh, well, yeah, this person's great, but they're also just like me. They're talking about their struggles, they're talking about this. So I think especially somebody like you who is so well known for your music and who does have a personality, it's actually the greatest thing for you to do because it's going to allow yourself to have the medium to, even if it's about Avengers or it's about movies, like just to be able to hear you talk about whatever it is you're passionate about. I think people would love it.
Yeah, that's true. I think there used to be a mystique factor 100%. to not to call myself a celebrity, but like to celebrity.
Entertainers, musicians, actors.
And now we just live in an era where that's gone. There's no mystique to anybody. So like I might as well lean into just being who I am.
I think you're doing yourself a disservice if you're trying to stay behind the curtain for too long. I think in some instances it does work. Like
we just live in an era where everybody needs to see you every fucking day,
every single day,
and it's like that's why YouTube's. And I'm definitely not gonna be a fucking YouTuber, but like,
come on, dude,
that one's not in the cards.
Come on, hit up Escalona. He'll teach you the ropes, dude.
Vlogs are not my cards.
No,
but I like conversations. I like talking, and people seem to like it. So that's definitely something that's on the back burner.
I can see it. I'll start giving you that nudge if you need me to. If you want to hop on weekly calls and discuss ideas, fucking
if the deal is right, I am in, baby.
Yep, that's right.
Show me the money.
Yeah, whoever's got the money and the paycheck out there, write a check to my man Joey. Get this man paid.
Yeah, man.
Get him paid.
Yeah, we'll see though.
How many years you been in LA?
I've been here 5 years, man.
Yo, that's hilarious because I wrote down one of my notes. I knew it's definitely more than 4, but I didn't know the number. So I said he's definitely been in LA for at least 5, maybe more.
I was on and off for about a year in 2014. I probably spent like 3 to 4 months here. And then I permanently moved here June 2015. So a little over 5 years.
Damn.
Actually.
You still loving it?
Sure.
I know it's a little hard given COVID that it's like there's really no reason to be probably here at all. You could probably get away with living somewhere else where it's much more affordable and not stuck in an apartment. But
it's the first time in my adult life I feel like I have a life. Like I feel like I've got like a little family and like
right now.
Yeah, like of my friends and like I don't know if I'll be here forever, but like yeah, right now it feels comfortable, but also like I don't like a lot of the LA shit. Like Hollywood is dark.
It really is. I think that's the most misconceiving thing. Like people don't realize outside looking in that it is like an interesting pocket. And I think you are somebody that has really seen a lot of things that I probably have never seen. And I'm not saying like fucking crazy stories, but like you've definitely been in environments and circles of people that expose what the city is really all about.
Yeah, man, the culture's whack, and it's like not me. You know, I definitely leaned into it when I was younger and like wanted more approval and wanted to be around people I considered, you know, more famous, you know, clout as they say. But like, yeah, the whole culture of it just like is not me, man. But I feel like I've got a lot, like a close family of friends that aren't really into that life now.
Yeah.
And I like it.
Well, definitely when I met up with you guys, which was so needed, I hadn't seen either of you, you or Noah, since your birthday in December at this apartment.
Yeah, don't remember that. I do. I remember the pregame. I remember the pregame. I do remember you being there, actually.
I made it to the pregame.
My old coffee table broke.
Oh.
It's on the balcony
What
now.
a buzzkill. But so let me say this first, and then you'll see where I'm going with this. When I had hit up Noah recently, I was like, yo, let me know if you ever do anything. I'm like, just trying to meet people, right? And so he said, you guys are going to the beach. I'm like, great. I'm going to see these guys. Haven't seen them in a minute. Cool. Had a great day with you guys at the beach. But the one thing I could tell, and even just from some of the people I was meeting was, one, this was a strong community of people that like really know each other well, 20 plus people. And two, like some people were in the music industry. Some people did this, some people did that, but it wasn't about, so what do you do? It's like, it was just a very good environment and good energy, which is really hard to find in LA. And that's been the phase that I've been going through recently. And even something that we talked about that night we went to
Leslie and Lance's.
Shout out to Leslie and Lance's. Great folks.
Yeah, great.
Amazing
folks.
Dog. But
Louis.
Great dog. The triple L's right there. I didn't even realize that.
Oh, I didn't even put that together.
Triple L's. But me and you had a quick conversation, and it was like, it's crazy because I don't even know if I said this to you. Maybe I just said this to Noah when I was at the beach, but like you and Noah, and I did say it too, because I remember you were like, I wasn't even there for one of the times. You and Noah gave myself and Dylan a place to crash before we even lived in LA, which was like the ultimate game changer because we were able to come visit the city twice before living here and gave us an opportunity to feel the land. And that shit was like the world to me. I mean, I know Dylan greatly appreciated it, but it meant the world to me. And then I moved out here and I like never even got to see you guys. And I really because
you rubbed us the wrong way when you were on.
Oh yeah, that's why I didn't clean up after myself.
And nobody did it. It's
incredible. Is this the same couch, by the way?
It is the same couch. So it's been cleaned.
Okay, well, this is like a legendary couch for the amount of people that have laid on there. So I love that this is actually the one. But the hardest thing for me was that you guys, especially, it's just a great example of like two guys that I knew before I moved to LA. I moved to LA and then I never saw. And I take the full blame for that because I was just so head down and trying to figure my shit out that I like, straight up, Joey, for the first 2.5 years of living here, it was amazing. It helped me get to where I am, but I don't even feel like I lived in LA. It was like just a place I fucking worked. It was either driving Uber, it was podcasting.
You were heavy back then.
Or it was like trying to go to like some event that I knew you guys were going out to the Roxy to try to meet a couple of people so that maybe I could get a podcast out of it. And so now I'm at this phase where in the last couple months, I'm like, okay, work's in place, starting to do this podcast again, great. But what does community look like? What does your friend group look like? And so that has been the thing I've been putting a lot of energy into in the last 6 weeks and have seen so much positivity from it. Like now I know like tomorrow I'm going here, Saturday I'm going there. Like before it would hit the weekend. I'm like, what am I even doing? I don't even know who to hit up because everybody that I have in my contacts is strictly a business relationship. So I would love to hear like, how long did it take for you when you moved out here to finally feel that community? And it wasn't like you're just checking off boxes to go to this party, to meet this person. Like, when did you feel this was not only a place that you worked for music, but like that you actually lived and had friends?
I mean, when we had that house that you're talking about that you stayed in, we never locked the door, and it was just like people were rolling in and out. And there were party friends. You know, I've got a lot of friends here. I'm fortunate in that sense, but not like there's a difference between people I'm gonna hang out with during the day and go to the movies with or things of that nature, and people who I know I'm gonna see when I'm out. And I'd say probably within the last year and a half, I'm like, all right, I got my people that like I know got my back, you know. But yeah, it definitely took a while and you got to differentiate like who's valuable to your time in a sense. So yeah, I mean, I think that definitely takes everybody a long time to figure out.
You think it's specifically LA, or is it just major cities in general, if you had to take a guess?
I think small towns, you're kind of stuck with who you're stuck with.
Yeah, you're right. Don't miss that vibe.
Yeah, I'm sure New York's kind of the same.
But I even think, like, my sister lives in Charleston, South Carolina, for instance. She moved there the same day that I moved to LA. She's 2 years younger than me. And sometimes I weirdly think about, like, she's probably had such a different experience because I don't feel like there's this... And I love LA for it. It's the place of dreamers. I like truly love that everyone's out here to do something bigger than themselves. Not to say that people in Charleston aren't trying to do something bigger than themselves, but I feel like people there in Charleston are there to make a friend, where here it's to make a friend to get something out of that person.
Yeah. I go back and forth with that, but like I'm guilty of it too. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I definitely think it's corny, but like I definitely go back and forth with that. What was I gonna? Age plays into it too, I think. You know.
Just because, in the sense of like the age, in the sense of like because you see things from a different lens now, at 28 versus maybe 24.
I just want. Well, it's like what we said earlier. Like I feel like I just want different things. Like I want people who, you know, are. What am I trying to say? I guess I just want people around me that I can rely on. In a sense, and like a lot of that shit you can't.
Yeah. And that's how you and Noah ended up on the same street.
We actually, so we lived together, and then he was moving in with his girl, and we were at his girl's house as I was looking for places, and we were going to PetSmart to get his dog some, and I just saw a sign outside of this place. I hadn't seen it on any sites, and I was like, oh, I wonder what that's like. I called the lady, and I was like, oh, that's a steal. Can I see it? And I was like, oh, yeah, I'm in. I'm sure they hate it because I'm like I'm a big third wheel. But, yeah, I mean, when you talk about people you want to keep around, like, I'm lucky that I found that dude.
Yeah. How far does he live from here? Like same. I know it's in the same street though, right?
Like we went to lunch today. We just walked and.
I love that. I love that. You go from like room next door to each other at the old house to now literally on the same street grabbing lunch together.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny, but yeah, he probably lives like 5-minute walk.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
Do you like living alone?
I do. I think it's been very good for me as a person because I've always. I guess this is the first time where I'm comfortable alone, or I know that I'm comfortable alone. Because before I was always either kind of living with people that worked for me, or you know, friends. And yeah, like aside from the 3 months of quarantine where you didn't see a single goddamn other person. Like the
Yeah.
first
Like
3 months,
like true
when
quarantine.
you thought the
It
fucking
was true-
apocalypse
yeah,
was
it
happening, like when
true
you walked
quarantine.
outside and like saw people with masks, and you're like, "What is this movie I'm in?"
Yeah.
Aside from that, it's been very good. Like even these last, now that things are kind of not back to normal, but more back to normal, it's been good again. But like, yeah, I just think it's very good just to know that you're comfortable with yourself. Like I can just duck off and not see another person for like 5 days if I wanted to.
Well, that's something really interesting because I think to get to that level where you're comfortable with just being yourself and not needing to be around people or like chasing a significant other, I think that puts you at such a good headspace because you're just so comfortable in your own skin and essentially confident that you're not going to misstep or you're not going to chase things for the wrong reasons because you're just, I'm not saying you're the happiest guy in West Hollywood, but you're good. Like you.
That sounds like a gay bar.
That sure does sound like a gay bar, and it would be in West Hollywood. But you're I don't want to say content in the sense of like you're cool with like not making progress, but you're content in the sense of like you're good with chilling and you're.
Yeah, and I mean, I guess it can go one of two ways, but at our age, when you live with roommates and they don't have structured jobs either, really, it's very easy for, you know, somebody to go, "Oh, you want to do this?" and then you ruin your whole day.
Yeah.
So when you're alone, like I just sit here and drink my 18 coffees a day and try to be productive.
Get that caffeine rocking and rolling.
Yeah. Instead of like, yeah, let's go to lunch and get day drunk, or like, oh, let's watch this movie at fucking 2 p.m.
And then it's 5 p.m. Let's take
And
a
then
quick.
it's 5 p.m. and then you're like, all right, ready to get drunk yet?
Crack open that Corona, throw
Yeah.
back a Jameson, and the
Yeah.
night begins.
Yeah.
What's the craziest party you've ever went to in LA, or one of the craziest stories?
I mean,
that you
those
can
are
discuss.
all off record.
Yeah, that will something that you can share without going into whether it was partying with somebody that you just admired, or I don't know. Give me like a stereotypical LA story.
Trying to think. Post birthday party was pretty crazy.
Recently?
I think it was his birthday last year. It might have been 2 years ago. Fuck, time flies. That one was pretty crazy because he was like at the height of everything, and like we're friendly with him, and like, dude, the people that were there, I was just like, what? Why am I in this room with these people?
Where was the party?
It was at this sick house. It was actually our buddy Josh's house. It's like, you look at this house and this dude's like a billionaire, but like, you just look around and like Noah was fucking, I mean, we hang out with a lot of musicians, so this isn't that off the cuff, but it's Noah was playing Pong with 21 Savage, and they were like yelling at each other.
Of course, Noah.
Like Noah's
All
blacked out,
people.
and Noah gets really competitive when it comes to like things like that, and he was just like talking shit, and I was just like, this is gonna end bad. I'm gonna have to have his back here. I'm fucked. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like I've been to a lot of like, oh wow, I'm here.
Yeah.
So much that you almost feel used to it.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, you've put yourself in a really great position over the years of like people you've met, built relationships with. So it's not surprising that you end up at a Post Malone party, whether you're best friends or not with him. You, or at least probably you guys know each other, or you're around the same crew. So it's like anything else. Like if I'm out at a party and I see you're with 3 people, I kind of just like, oh, what's up? You're with him? Cool.
Yeah.
Same thing out here. I know. I don't know who you talk to on a day-to-day, but I know the people you're surrounded by. And I'm like, of course, like it makes sense that you're going to this party or you know this person directly.
Yeah. I feel like I built a good presence here, if that makes sense.
Yeah. And it's also the entertainer in you where you bring good energy and good vibes, so people want that around.
Yeah, and people fucking love me when I'm drunk. I hate it. I hate it.
Get this man another beer.
People only like me when I'm drunk.
How has, I'm really interested in this one. What has been your take on the LA dating scene since you've been here?
I just started dating for the first time.
Okay, so give me some of that.
Like, I I mean,
we talked a little bit about this at the beach. I don't know if you remember. You guys were
I don't remember.
You guys were drinking some brewskis and
I was getting a
fucking
little
full
open.
set.
No,
you were getting open.
Was I telling more stories?
You were big on your hickey of the night from the night before. So you were making sure everybody knew. Oh, sorry, it's my
sorry,
hickey.
it's this hickey
this
from this
hickey
girl.
that's why I lost Can Jam to Bobby because
I would never do that.
So you recently got in the dating scene.
No, like I've had girlfriends, but never like I never like seeked it out. Like I've had 2 girlfriends in my life, and it was just like, oh, we were hooking up. I guess we're dating. Like
so it wasn't like we're boyfriend girlfriend. It just kind of evolved into that.
Yeah, I'd never like seeked it, and I was Gianni and Kyle.
Of course, had them on the pod. Great guys.
Oh, you had them on?
Not in this one, the old one, personally, but great guys.
So they're like 2 of my closest friends, and they've got 2 really good girlfriends, and we had a movie night where we watched one of the original Batmans on VHS.
You, them 4, and you.
Yeah,
5.
I'm very popular in the tag along world.
But you're happy with yourself, so you're like, fuck it, I'll join.
I mean, I don't mind. I fit right in.
I love that.
But we watched a VHS of like I think Batman Returns, like Michael Keaton or whatever, and we were just talking about dating and stuff, and they were like, yeah, we got denied from this app Raya before they met their girlfriends. Like they weren't that I guess popular at the time as they are now because they're having a good year. But I was just fucking around because you have to get approved for this fucking dating app.
Yeah,
so
I'm
LA.
still on the fucking waiting list. So if you got the plug, get me in there.
I just was like kind of tipsy, and I was like, I bet I'll get approved right now. Just like talking shit, and I signed up and got approved.
Of course, because you got that verified. They're like, yep, let this guy in.
And so I've been having fun with that over the past. I've had it for like a month. Like every time I post an Instagram photo, like all my boys are like, new Raya profile.
Oh my god, they're chirping away.
Yeah.
So you updated the one with the recent post that you probably put up?
You're goddamn right.
Oh my god, that's incredible. I mean, you're also in the set. Like,
yes, I had a hickey the other night too.
It was great. You were bragging about it. I was fucking eating it up.
Okay, I wasn't bragging.
Not bragging, but you were making it known. It was a statement.
I was like, "Oh, congrats on my sex."
Yeah, a little warrior.
Last night. Yeah, but it's been the first time where I've like, I feel like it's good for knowing what you like in a person and don't like in a person. Like I know what ticks me off now. Like I'll like hang out with a girl, like get dinner or something, and like some of them are like gangster, and like I'm like I really fuck with this chick, and others like psychoanalyze me, and I'm like, all right, nice to fucking know you for a couple of days. I'm like, I don't want this at all. But yeah.
The gangster though, what are the signs of the gangster? What's the green light or like the check plus
of being a gangster?
No, well, just not being a gangster, but like what's the traits that you're looking for that you go, this is somebody I want to be around a little bit more?
I don't know, somebody like carefree. They like to have a good time. They don't give you shit, and they're not. Obviously, when you date somebody, they start getting in your business or whatever. But like when you meet somebody and they don't get in your business, and they're just like, I'm fucking.
They don't care.
Like
they care, but they don't care. They're
not. I mean,
asking.
essentially, they all end up caring, and I think that goes for men as well. But like, just give off that vibe that's like, yeah, let's fucking have fun.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Other ones are like, a little too much.
You're not worried about anything. You're just worried about having a good time.
Yeah, I feel like my experience with dating, it's been bad professionally for me because then they start talking about like, oh, the songs that I write. Oh, who's this about? Oh, this isn't about me. Are you still not over your ex-girlfriend?
Wow, so they start super analyzing
everything.
Yeah,
I just don't I don't vibe with that. Like, I don't psychoanalyze you.
Yeah, what the
like, let me live.
You could also always argue as an artist that you're a storyteller, so it doesn't necessarily mean that the song is from your own experience.
Yeah, I mean, and look, the thing like writing songs, it all comes from some perspective. Like, that doesn't, like... I was with a girl and she just kept like telling me I wasn't over my ex-girlfriend of 5 years ago because I write love songs, and I was like, I don't even think about that. And you're telling me, like, you're trying to convince me that, like, I'm still in love with this person, and I was just like, it's just really, it's always been negative to me.
Honey, this is what
But
I
a
get paid to
gangster
do.
is somebody who's like, yeah, that shit was sick. Like, I get why you made that. And, like, you're not fucking trying to make me, change me, in a sense.
Yeah. So is this something you're putting a lot of effort into, or is it just kind of when something pops up?
Nah, it's an ego thing. Like, oh, I like this person, they like me back. Yeah. Which one of you guys are gonna like me back?
Yo, that's the best thing about, like,
I like it because you can't screenshot it or anything.
Oh, you were telling. I remember you were explaining that if you do that, you get disabled or deactivated.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's super interesting. I think we can be now. Tell me if I'm wrong, or tell me if you have a different perspective on this. But from me, and from my standpoint, in my experience, I'm a very confident man, and I throw myself out there, and I just, like, I am who I am, and that's just me. Like, you either take me for who I am or whatever. But anytime that a female gets involved, then I start questioning myself.
Yeah.
And then it's like, wait a second, why am I questioning myself when I know I'm the best version of myself? But because that ship sailed, or it didn't, the relationship didn't go the way I thought it would go, then I'm sitting there analyzing my own self when I'm trying to make a rationalization that it's actually me and it's not them.
Yeah, I guess to wrap it up, I don't like games more than anything. Like, I feel like I'm very straightforward with who I am. Mm-hmm. And in that sense, like, me and Noah talk about it. Like, I'll be, like, with a girl for a little bit, and then I'll cut it off, and Noah will be like, I don't get that. Like, I would have kept doing that. And he's like, you just, like, know that it's not gonna work, and you're just, like, out. Like, I don't like playing games. Like, I don't like that shit.
Well, are you dipping and moving on to something else because the person's trying to play game?
No, I just know that, like, I'm not that.
You're not interested.
Yeah.
So you give
and,
it a
like,
little
instead
bit
of just, like, hooking up with them for, like, a couple more months and wasting both of our time, I'm like, let's just.
Respectfully.
Yeah. And it's been good because, like, I mean, sometimes it's good. Like, I've got some of them who still text me and, like, we're cool. And then, like, you know, some girls are like,
fuck you.
Yeah. But, like, I'm not, like, a ghosting kind of guy either. Like, I'm not just going to, like.
You're out there with the right intention, but it can be taken the wrong way.
It can be. But, like, I would much rather do that than, like, do, you know, a month and then they start getting mad at me and I'm like, I knew I should have just cut this off.
I respect that.
Yeah.
At some point, you don't want to be wasting your time. You don't want to cause somebody else to run in circles.
And I also feel like by myself right now, I'm so comfortable and, like, I like what I'm doing so much. And it's like, I don't want to bring somebody else around me that's not going to keep propelling that.
Yeah, you need somebody that's going to motivate you.
Yeah.
And is also a self-starter themselves and has other things they're working on.
Yeah. If it works negatively into my life, then I don't want any part of it.
Is there a certain area of your life you're trying to put more energy or effort into that you know you need to put more into? Or do you feel equally balanced career?
I feel pretty balanced. I'm trying to do a lot of learning, like reading and stuff right now that I'm not the best reader.
You don't have to be a reader to learn, though.
No, I know, but
you
like,
just have to find the medium that works for you. I've learned
that's true. I listen
just from podcasts.
I listen to a lot of podcasts now, and I feel like I can get a lot of that. Even, like, I didn't drink the Joe Rogan Kool-Aid for a while.
I love that. You said that at the beach, and I was like, "That's actually."
Did we have this talk?
100%.
When I work out, I put on, like, somebody I like. Like, I don't really like the weird shit that he does, but, like, I'll put on somebody I like on there, and I think he's very knowledgeable and, like, I think he's very interesting because when you look at him, you're like, I know who this is. A UFC guy, definitely a Republican, fucking definitely this and this, and then he opens his mouth and you're like, oh, this is a very, like, complex, thoughtful,
yes,
you know, kind of person,
open-minded,
very open-minded, and you're like,
he'll play both sides of the fence.
Exactly, which I like. And I think, I don't know where I went with that, but, like, yeah, I like people like that, and, like, I just would like to read more just to have a bigger scope of some things. Like, I got 2 books sitting right here that Mike told me to read, and I haven't read them yet, but yeah.
Those are some spiritual. Let me see. What's the orange one?
Spiritual books.
Yep.
Yeah. But like sometimes when I read, like I'll think of something else while I'm reading the words.
Yeah.
I got ADD a little bit like that, so I'm trying to get better at that.
My advice with reading and what helped me get into it, I picked it up heavily last March, and probably for like 10 months I did 30 minutes a day, heavily. Some days I read a lot more pages than others because I was side distracted. But what I would do is I would just tell myself just 30 minutes today. So I put a timer on my phone for 30 minutes, put on airplane mode, and I think what can be overwhelming, and I think a lot of us are programmed like this now because we're so used to our phones and like things are moving all the time. I think we're just so used to fucking scrolling and doing this that it's hard to actually stay focused. But I found that putting that 30-minute timer a day has been a complete game changer. And maybe you start at 15 minutes and then you work your way up to 30. But if you're trying to get into reading and you're still like reading and you're feeling like your mind starts to drift, that little sprints like that, I swear, will help you just stay super focused. And once you start reading the right material, I think consciously I'm always thinking about like what I could be doing other than reading, but you then start to appreciate that 30 minutes. You're like, yo, I can't wait to do this shit tomorrow, or maybe I'll squeeze in another 30 minutes tonight because you're reading the right material.
Yeah, to get back to what started this, I think a lot of what I'm trying to do is just unlearn past patterns or behavior. And a lot of that has been structure because I
want to unlearn structure.
No. Like building structure.
Oh, okay.
Like I've been fortunate enough to have a life thus far where I haven't had to work. Like I've worked.
The unorthodox way of
I
working.
haven't had to go into an office, so like I can get lost in doing nothing very, very easily.
Totally. You're in complete control of your time every day of the week.
So I've definitely been trying to build structure where I will do what you just said, where I'll try to allot. All right, this part of my day is for this. This part's about trying to learn guitar.
Amazing.
Which has been a fucking... I want to break that motherfucker. I want to break that goddamn
I love that.
But yeah, it's a lot about... I just want to unlearn kind of things that aren't going to be beneficial to me in the future.
Use me as a resource, Joey, because I'm going to tell you right now, you might not even realize this. I am probably one of the most structured people you will ever meet in your life. I can tell you...
dude, I know you, so I know that.
Yeah, bro, I can tell you time of day and day of week what I'll be doing, because I break my days up. This is the thing, and I think you'll even notice this too as you start to... It's a work in progress. It takes time to like find the sweet spot of like it'll be a trial and error of like you'll say like, all right, I'm going to start doing guitar in the morning, and then you realize like, well, I'm actually more focused when I pick up the guitar too, so maybe I'll do that in the afternoon. But trial and error of finding like the time of day to actually do certain things. But what happens is not only are you making use of your time because you're like, this is what I'm doing at this time, this is what I'm doing at this time, you're actually allowing your mind to only focus the energy on the bigger things in life, like creative or thoughts that you need to like hone in on, because you're not thinking about, do I want to go to the gym right now or no? Do I want to work on writing music, or should I start working on the script that I'm working on? Should I put some effort into like this podcast concept, or should I let this ride ahead of time? Even if it's the night before, from 2 to 3 tomorrow, I'm working on podcasts, the concept. From noon to 1, I'm working on music. So not only does it feel more fulfilled by the end of your day, where you're like, yo, that was actually a solid day's work, I think you're actually more productive in the actual time frame, where something that will take you an hour maybe before took you 3.5, because you're constantly like checking phone, fucking drifting away. But man, that's amazing if that's what your like target is to find that more structure.
I actually I talk about this so much these days that I feel like I'm just beating a dead horse, but I feel like working out has been like the health thing. I mean, it's pretty documented. I used to be fat, but
fluffy, not fat.
There was a point there where I was fat, but I felt like doing that has built such a base of that in my life. Like, oh, I got to do this every day. Mm-hmm. Like, and that for the first time has been like the set thing that I do every day. And now I got something set. Okay, what can I set
Then
More
what
than
else
this.
can you add to that?
Mm-hmm. And the other thing I've really been trying to work on is doing things that I don't want to do. Because I've also been privileged in the sense where I don't have to do something I don't want to fucking do.
Mm-hmm.
Like if
You don't have to.
Yeah, if I would have, maybe I'd be more successful already. If I would just go, because how many times if I looked at things and been like, I should have done that. I should have taken that opportunity. But I just didn't want to fucking do it, whether it was out of ego or like out of laziness or whatever it was.
Yeah.
But like I'm trying to just say yes to things a lot more.
I love that. You got to seek discomfort. That's what it is. That yes group we talked about in the beginning of this podcast, that's what their brand, their clothing brand they've built. I love this YouTube group because they've built such a powerful message around saying yes, but their brand clothing line is literally called Seek Discomfort because they're all about like saying yes and like say you've been thinking about trying something new for the first time, but you can always think of a million reasons why you don't want to do it today. Go do the damn thing. And it actually weirdly makes life more enjoyable. Like even in the last 2 months, I've actually started throwing myself out there more dating.
Are you getting hickeys?
Not hickeys yet, man. Luckily, the girls that I have, kissed a little bit here and there, they haven't been going for the neck too crazily and haven't left some battle wounds. So not yet, but you might have just spoken into existence and maybe it'll happen this weekend and I'm going to be fucking pissed. But I picked up surfing. What else? I've been like, when I met up with you guys that day, like that inside, it's actually kind of not makes you anxious, but it kind of is like, fuck, I'm about to go meet a whole group of people. I don't know anybody except 2 people. Like I don't have to be on my A game, but I need to like, I got to be It's so different when you're kicking it with the homies for the night because you just like casually just catch up. But when you're meeting people for the first time, it's a whole different. I mean, I know I'm preaching, but like it's a whole different vibe. You're like trying to read them. You're trying to like figure out where they're from. There's all these like questions, and you don't want to like overstep. It's like a weird game, but I think that's huge, man. Like saying yes to a lot of things and just trying to find that structure. And I bet you the days that maybe you miss out on a workout, you almost feel like, damn, you missed something.
I feel like a piece of shit.
Yeah.
I feel like I gained 30 pounds if I don't work out.
I don't want you gaining 30 pounds, but it's a good feeling.
No, I feel like if I miss a workout, I'm like fucking fat.
So you say that you work out right every day, or we'll say whatever.
If I don't like work out, I run every day.
Here's the real question though: is there a certain time of day that you work out, or is it just whenever it happens? It happens.
I'm gonna be honest. It's getting to a. I'm actually training a friend right now.
You're training a friend.
Really?
That's awesome because not long ago you were the one having a trainer.
Yeah.
So that's pretty incredible.
Yeah, and I mean that makes it a little more, I guess timed. Like he has to work, so we'll have to do it within his schedule. And even that, I just fucking yelled at him, and I had to recognize with myself, like, all right, he's not where I'm at. Not like he bailed on a workout, and I was like, yo, don't waste my fucking time. And he's like, yo, like this is new to me. Like, I'm not used to this. And like you actually know who I'm talking about. But,
I know who you're talking about, and I wouldn't say his name. But I've seen you guys posting that high quality content.
Yeah, no, but he's just like, this is new. Like, I've never lifted.
Yeah.
Like, he's just very
His
slender.
body's weak.
Yeah, and he's like,
I get it.
There's days that I just like can't do it. Whereas
Totally.
like I've been very accustomed to doing it all the time, and like I didn't yell at him, but like we got in an argument, and like I had to kind of check myself where I was like, I gotta be more patient and like understand that
It's gonna take him time.
Yeah.
But I do respect though. Nothing pisses me off more than don't waste my time. So if you're gonna tell me you're gonna be somewhere and 3 hours later you're just like, nah, I'm not feeling it. Depending on the situation, a lot of times it could. I'm just such a.
But
big,
like I mean, everything's better in hindsight. But like I should have been like, okay, yeah, I remember when I was like that.
So put yourself. That's the perspective. Put yourself in that shoe, in his shoes, and go. You understand where he's coming from.
Yeah, and I also don't think he realized that it was throwing me off my shit at the time.
Yeah.
But I mean, it really doesn't in the grand scheme of things. But like, yeah, I had to check myself. Like, oh, okay, I shouldn't have fucking
Gone. Like let
the
temper go.
I didn't yell at him, but like I was like, yo, if we're fucking doing this, like we're doing it. Like,
Yeah.
And like, yeah, it's just like the wrong approach with that.
As somebody that has gone through the process of having a moment where you said, I want to make a change in my life and lose weight and whatever you were thinking to yourself, get, in better shape, to then actually doing it, what advice would you give to people out there that might be trying to do something similar?
It's worth it to just do it. Like, I definitely like would just duck off and not talk to anybody for like 60 days because I was sober, and I like couldn't be in those surroundings if I was like sober. But I've never looked back at that and been like, I miss anything that I missed out on. Like, it's just so worth it to just fucking do it. But also, I'm fortunate in the sense, like, I was trying to do it for a long time, and I just didn't have the compunction to kind of do it. And then it wasn't until I was paying for it.
Smart. That's good.
Because, like, I got a nutritionist and a trainer. Like, I went to... Because I had to learn these things. Like, I didn't know what... They say, like, oh, this diet works, do that. But until somebody's telling you, like, this is what your body... This is what's good for your body if you want to lose weight and diet. And then I'm also getting a trainer. I wasn't going to waste money. So, like, when I started paying, I was like, it was...
Yeah.
Balls to the wall.
That's actually genius because now you're signed up for it, and you know that if you're not actually following this game plan,
then I'm just blowing
wasting
this
your money. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that was definitely helpful for me. And even like after I initially lost a lot of weight, like I put a lot back on after I stopped training. And like it's been nice to learn, all right, well, here's how I can keep it off without going full balls to the wall. Like even right now I've been like very easy on myself. Got me a little beer pouch, but like I'm still very, very lean in comparison.
You feel like, comfortable in your own skin, though.
Yeah, like I don't look in the mirror and like yell at myself like I used to, but like I know, okay, I can go back to normal in a week. Like just like a week of just going extra hard will just like offset it. So I can have like that leniency with myself where I'm not like yelling at the mirror.
Yeah. Well, I think it's good when you go through something like that because it's just you can literally take that same process and that like this is where I'm at, this is what I want to become. I did that. I stay disciplined. I follow the workout routines. I follow the nutrition diet. You can take that same discipline and apply it to anything else that you do next in your life, which I think is like the ultimate key to making changes in your life is you have to do something, see something through one time, and then it's like a light bulb moment of like, oh, I could literally do this with nutrition, with a creative passion, with relationships, with this part of my life. It then becomes like you just translate that same formula across the board.
It teaches a certain level of discipline that I just didn't have. And I think that's healthy in every aspect of life.
Yeah.
Like discipline is key to a lot.
Discipline and consistency. You put those two together, you can literally accomplish anything.
Yes.
Anything.
Yeah.
Before we wrap up this podcast, because I could spend probably another hour or two with you, and there's definitely going to be a part 3 at some point. Hopefully not fucking 3 years later. But I actually kind of like that it's been 3 years and some change, man. That's a lot.
Do you go back and listen to old podcasts?
No,
like that?
I hate hearing my voice.
Oh, try being a musician.
So like what I should have really done is took the time, listen to the entire first podcast we did, take a couple notes, take your positioning on something and brought it back. But I
remember in that era I was a little depressed, and I probably like if I were to listen to that, I feel like I would see a different person in a way.
Where was the depression stemming from?
I mean, just everything.
Was that so 20? So
that was after I put out a whole album about being depressed.
Makes sense.
No, but like I feel like I've been able, like people say it to me all the time, but they're like, you just seem like a different person, like a happier person, and like I feel like a lot of that has come from growth and like recognizing things.
How do you, so in general, would you say mentally wise, and I don't think it's talked about enough. I know sometimes in social media mental health can get thrown around, but as somebody who's definitely dealt with his own fair share of mental battles and conversations within my own head that weren't for the right things and negativity and a handful of things, I like being able to talk about it with people. So do you feel like mentally you're in a really good spot where you feel like a lot of the thoughts in your mind are positive, or do you still have that chatter where there's like the negativity shooting yourself down and making you feel like shit from time to time?
There always is that, I think, with most people, but I think there's a maturity of navigating it. Like, just, I mean, a lot of it's being less hard on myself, but like, controlling that stuff and just recognizing like the how fortunate things are for me, or how happy I am creatively right now, or with the people in my life, where, you know, I mean, this isn't everybody's experience with like depression and stuff, but like when it hit me and I started getting panic attacks and I started having like the darker thoughts, it just I became very woe is me, instead of like, all right, why is this happening to me? Or like, why am I feeling this way? And like, I feel like I just work on, you know, controlling the things that put me in that position to begin with.
Yeah, it's powerful. You ever try meditating?
I haven't. I do yoga. I feel like that's
partially
people.
Meditating.
I've read negative things about meditating for some people. Like it can cause a lot of depression.
Really?
Have you ever looked at the depression of it?
No, I've meditated.
I thought about getting into meditation, and yeah, I was just reading on it, and like it can be very bad for some people.
Interesting. I would bet though 90. There's got to be a high statistic of helping people.
Yeah, for sure.
I honestly speak so now that's just one of those things where I would never try to stand for like meditation is going to heal everyone's fucking problems, so like whoever wrote that doesn't know what they're talking about. It's like anything in life. Something works for people, some things don't. I have found that meditation has positively changed my life for the better in the last 4 years, because what it's allowed me to do is, after I work out, first thing I do every morning is I work out, get the blood flowing, get woken for the day. I shower. Before I get ready for the day, literally put on my boxers, don't even put on anything else. I sit down, I have a chair in my bedroom. It's my extra podcast chair, so it's in my bedroom. And I meditate for 10 minutes. But what it allows me to do is it allows me to set intention for the day. So even if I went to sleep and I had negative thoughts rolling through my mind, or whether when I was working out I just still wasn't really feeling it, whatever it might be, this is the 10 minutes where I slow down, I focus on my breath. It's guided meditation, so there's a voice walking you through it. And then it allows me to kind of feel like weight off my shoulder and good intention.
Do you have the app?
Yeah, it's an app.
I've downloaded it. What's it called?
A lot of people know Headspace.
That's the one.
That's the one I started with. I use the one called Waking Up, which does 1 month free. And what I love about this app is that if you can't afford it and you email them, they'll give it to you for free.
Oh, that's lovely.
So I think it's incredible for people that might not be able to afford a monthly fee. And I even feel more proud to pay them. I pay out for the year because it gets cheaper instead of doing like by month. And I feel even more proud to give them my money because I know they're actually taking the precautions to help people that can't actually do it. But I would challenge you that if you've never tried it, try it for 30 days.
Okay.
If you're open-minded to it.
I am open-minded to it. I've just never wanted to do it.
Yeah.
I got to do things I don't want to do.
Well, yeah, you were just saying that. So you got to, at the end of the day though, you got to want to do it. And if you feel mentally good, like why, I'm not here to disrupt what you already have going. And so I just think it's something that it can benefit a lot of people.
Look, man, everybody can get better.
Yeah.
Everybody can be a little better than they are, no matter what.
I completely agree.
I've been I'm not gonna throw this person's name out there, but a friend of ours has recently been doing therapy, and just was telling me how healthy it is and how good that is, and I've been considering it, not for any myriad of reasons, but I just think everybody seems to just say it's very helpful.
100%.
So it's been something I've been considering a lot lately.
I think it's worth a try. I'm now even seeing, I think Joe Rogan's even talked about it as an ad. It's an ad for maybe him or maybe Dax Shepard's podcast.
Dax is big on it, but I think when you go sober like that, do you do therapy?
But I'm not even saying him personally. I know he does therapy, but I'm saying that there are now even apps where you can connect with a therapist.
Oh, yeah.
They're like, I think that's just showing you the demand for it and how much more aware people are.
I always get the ad.
Whenever apps pop up for something, I alwish think that means
always
there's
get
more
the ad
demand.
with the dude from Queer Eye for the straight guy.
Oh, I haven't seen this ad yet.
I always get that ad about that therapy.
Our phones are listening, so when I do I do get the ad now because we're talking about it, I'm going to send you a screenshot and just know that they're fucking listening to us. But yeah. I'm open to that, and I am
too. I also like Howard Stern a lot. Another person that one of those growth people that you look at and you're like, oh, this dude is not who he was when he was younger, and 100%. He's like cool with it.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, I don't like the show because I feel it's a little juvenile and dirty. But like, I love his interviews, and he talks about therapy a lot.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that seems like a good thing to do.
Well, one thing that I kind of joke about when I do the solo pods, I was telling you before, I do every week I put out a Monday episode, which is with a guest, and every Thursday I do a solo one. And what I kind of joke about from time to time in the solo pod, I mean, I cover everything from morning routines to this. Today was about like the characteristics of building $1 billion business, and like it's very widespread. But something that I recently have been like joking about is like, this is literally my therapy session, because it allows me to sometimes you just need to say shit out loud or put it to a medium, whether it's podcasting, writing, music, telling a friend. Just letting out that emotion can be the biggest game changer. And so I believe it. I'm actually curious and would want to try therapy one day. But I feel very fortunate that I have a medium to do it, which is podcasting. I have friends that I can be vocal with. I'm just
I feel the same way about music.
Loud person. But there you go. So that becomes your therapy session.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean, if it's something of interest, I would fuck it, dude.
Yeah. It's always there. I feel like one day I'll get there, but it's not.
I want to have you put out a challenge to the listeners. This is what I've been doing towards the end of every podcast, where people listen to podcasts and then they go on with their lives. But there's always, I think giving people actionable steps is very helpful sometimes. And so this has nothing to do with music related. It doesn't have to be entrepreneur related. It can literally be anything. What is something that if somebody listened to this far in the podcast, what is something actionable that they can do today that would put them in a better position than where they are right now?
Just do that thing that you always say you wanted to do, but you never do. Like for me, it's been guitar. I've always said I wanted to do it, and then I've always made excuses. Just do that thing that you always wanted to do.
That sounds like a bar, dude. You got to turn that into like a lullaby. Do that thing you always wanted to do.
Am I becoming the old wise guy now?
You're still a young buck. Come on.
Yeah, I know.
Huey, it's been an absolute pleasure coming through tonight and shooting with you. I know, I know you guys posted that
you woke me up from a nap.
I woke you up from a nap. I also came in knowing that
literally woke me up from a nap.
That Joey posted a photo of you and Mike doing the podcast last night, and it said the best podcast I ever did. And I said, damn right, Bearded Man's still coming in hot for this fucking podcast today. But
nah, it's good, man. I like talking to you. Well, you're a good dude.
I appreciate that, man. I appreciate
way less chug buds in this.
I can see them all sitting over there. I mean, yeah, dude. I can only imagine the amount of brewskis you guys are slinging. But yeah, man, thanks for taking the time, ladies and gentlemen. If you enjoyed this podcast, make sure to screenshot it, post it to your Instagram story, tag Huey, which is at Huey Mack, or is it _ Huey Mack?
Nah, it's just at Huey Mack. Come on. We don't do that.
Yeah, we don't got underscore. He's the fucking real deal.
You think there's another Huey Mack? There actually is another Huey Mack. He's a sheriff in Alabama.
Oh, well, see, there you go. You already know. He's a freaking sheriff. Screenshot this episode, tag at Huey Mack on IG, and tag me. Post it to your story. Helps get the word out. I'm at Bob A, B-O, 3 B's, 4 A's, and a Y. Any last words, Joey?
Have a wonderful evening.
Have a wonderful evening. Do.
What's that from?
Nardwar. Yeah. Thank you for tuning in. We'll talk to you guys soon enough. See ya.